What is up, friends? I hope everybody is doing well. Welcome to another really cool tool release. This time we're focusing on Active Directory. You can get this one at github.com mhaggis/ADTrapper. Now, ADTrapper was born out of an idea that, hey, it would be really cool if we had a way to centralize precise detection like analytics built into like an analytic engine focused only on Active Directory logs. Now, I wanted it to be fast, quick, and easy. I didn't want to have cruft of like other logs requiring more importance than other ones, things like that. And so as I started writing this, it ended up being a lot bigger than I wanted it to be. But I'm releasing it because I think it's kind of cool and I think people might find it interesting. I think you might find it interesting. But yeah, check it out. So first, it's a container. The container itself, let me back up real quick. The history of it was I was going to make a SaaS-based platform out of this because I thought it would be kind of cool if there was a place to where you could upload Active Directory logs to and have it hit this engine and pump out cool detections. But then I thought about it and I was like, that's actually a really bad idea. People are not going to want to upload their AD logs to a cloud place. So you might see artifacts in here related to Supabase. I was using a Supabase database on the back end that allowed for a lot of this to occur and work, but I removed it. You might see some artifacts, but that's okay. So it's a container now. Now you can pull down the container and use it locally. There is the package right here as well. So you can actually pull this straight from Git like this, which I think is pretty cool. So if you want to like test it and use it now, you can actually just pump it down into your local Docker and you have a container. You can start uploading your logs. Now that's kind of the biggest difference, right? I keep saying uploading logs. The idea is that you deploy this one machine, a central machine, and you upload your logs to it from an Active Directory. So this might be more for like an incident responder, a handler, or if you're just testing things and you want to see maybe quickly without using a SIEM or a log aggregation place or grep, you can pump your logs into here and be able to kind of get a good quick visual of what's going on. I do ship content related to brute forcing, password spraying, privest, quite a bit of the ADCS attacks out there. Now, not the latest ones that were released, which I think might have been 2 or 3 more. Those are not in here. But it does take Active Directory logs, like I mentioned. There are, here's the event types that it does take. So 4624, 25s, log off events, any kind of interesting credential use ones, Kerberos, auth events, count lockouts and things like that, all that. The script I do ship with it, again, you can hit the ADCS events. The script I ship with it, when you deploy the container, you can get it through the data upload path right here. Now, is this a simple tool? It's called capture, ADTrapper capture. It will grab all the event logs, run this on the domain controller, grab the event logs. It'll attempt to do any kind of GeoIP. It'll enrich it with the Active Directory data. So actually we'll go back to AD and query for users and just different things like that. All of that drives the like assets and identities. There's like an IP address or whatever it may be. It'll drive the assets and identities, which I think is pretty powerful for just like understanding what's going on, say across one or multiple machines or one machine doing a lot of things that could be of interest. Other integration points. I was doing some work with SharpHound a while back, and it got me thinking. I was like, dude, SharpHound collects everything AAD. So what if we actually just accept SharpHound data? So you run SharpHound across this environment, an AD environment that you have access to, a test environment. You can upload the collections, and it will actually parse it all out and give you the alerts and the whole assets and identities and just different things like that. So pretty cool. And then, of course, you can upload the data manually. Just dump the Windows event logs and or ADCS events and just upload the EVTX direct, the JSON file, and that will populate everything as well. So I guess kind of a quick walkthrough. Wait, should we? Yeah, all right. Back to the repo. Let me see if there's anything important. Nope. Okay, cool. So it's really easy to deploy. Again, you could just drop and build the container. You could also run, I have a couple deploy scripts in here. There's a deploy shell script. You could just run that. It'll build everything for you. It's really easy. There's a fresh deploy in here as well, deploy fresh. And that's really it. It'll just build, and then you have access to, sorry, you're not seeing this tab. There's a deploy fresh and deploy. Just run one of those and it'll rock and roll. And then over here, once you get it built, it'll be ready to go. It'll be empty. There won't be anything in here. I have some logs that we'll dig through. But before we dive into the logs and what some of this looks like, let's just hop on a machine that I have that we can view how the data is collected using our capture script. So let me go back here. Sorry, one second. So share screen. Let's go window. Well, it looks like I lost it. 1 second. Where did it go? It's my domain controller. Oh, it's over here, full screen. Got him. Okay, let me bring it back. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. This is like not even a live demo, but it's feeling like a live demo with problems, right? Okay, here's my domain controller. In this particular test, I don't have like ADCS enabled or anything like that. I just dropped the capture script. I'm just going to tell it to go back X amount of time, do enrichment with AD. There, you can output to special paths or type of format. If you want to target ADCS, you could do that as well. And it'll write out to a database, things like that. So it's pretty powerful. I'm just going to run it. So it just runs ADTrapper, goes back in time, collects the data. Highly recommend outputting in the JSON. It just seems to be kind of like the cleanest way to ingest. And then once that's done, and so I guess what it's doing, right, is it's querying AD, it's querying the domain controller's event logs, gathering all this data. Once it finishes gathering it, it dumps it obviously into the log file, and then it'll go back and enrich it with all of the users and things like that. This is a really vanilla environment, so there's really not much happening here. Not that many event logs. And let's go ahead and flip back to ADTrapper. Let's go here. Let's go here. Buttons. Boom. So yeah, once you have your log file, you just go to data upload. Just upload the file down here at the bottom. And again, it'll take collections, event logs, JSON output, and or the capture script. And then, yeah, from here, you can kind of start skimming through the pages. One of the reasons why I want to get it out there is because I think people may be able to get some good use out of it. And I'm kind of curious what people can do with it. So this is obviously a little very generic graph instance here showing you kind of what's going on in the environment. Some interesting things, not a whole lot, right? So I guess you can see like admin privilege, normal user, failed logons and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool, but also not the most like graph kind of model as you would expect from like a SharpHound or BloodHound, sorry. But the magic here is in the analytic engine. So it does correlate things pretty well, depending on factors and rules and whatnot, which I'll show you in a second. And you can actually go down and through, you could view the details, the raw details of some of these alerts as well as all in here, telling you like what's going on. There's high failure, high volume, 10 failed logons, things like that. And you can graph it or you can just mark it as resolved, depending on what you want to do here. Rapid alerts, just lots of correlation here. Here's your multiple auth failures. You could dig in, shows you the raw data of what it is that triggered it. Here's the patterns. Event code, and then what it is right here. I had a script that I ran that more or less just generated this, and you can see this goes back to September, so it's been a while since I've had this tool. And yeah, and it kind of goes on. Brute force attacks, you can see all these users are affected, 8 different users with 52 failed attempts in a 24-minute period. Concurrent sessions, things like that. It puts it all together. I don't think I had ADCS. Yeah, no ADCS on this one. But if you do get it, you'll see ADCS alerts if you have issues or things that match. Assets and identities, like I mentioned, you can come in here, see alerts for the particular asset or identity. and visually see like, hey, like in my lab or maybe in my real environment, there's these machines or users doing weird things. Kind of cool. And so then the analytics side, there is about 55 of them, and you have the ability, because it runs in a container, there's a database, you have the ability to come in here and modify the rules however you want. So if you're like, hey, we have service accounts that constantly fail, you can modify this to be higher, whatever you want to do. And they're also easy to clone and modify however you want as well. So I do give some basic example queries for like Splunk in here, where they match. So a lot of these are one-to-one with other content that's out there in the wild. Here's an ESC 15 one. So again, it's focused on like using event code 4887 and being able to pull out, behaviors related to ADCS based attacks. There is specific SharpHound ones in here, looking for things that SharpHound pulls out. So it kind of just pulls in like, hey, like this is of interest, showing GPO links and old ones and whatnot. So it calls those out and it'll alert it. It's pretty powerful, especially if you have just some good SharpHound data laying around. You could just load it and see what it looks like. This is the correlation for ADCS attack chain. So looking for a few things kind of combined, whether it's like any of the ESCs or like things just being changed or modified, which is pretty cool. And again, you can mostly modify all of these. Don't see the bottom on that one, but yeah, you can, hit the gear. Sorry, you can play with the gears on all of these and modify however you want to change on that. In the code, you'll see for the rules. So we go back here to the repo. If you go to, there's a link right at the top. All the detection rules are here, and they're all written in TypeScript. So it's fairly easy, I'd say, to understand how to build these and how they correlate. If not, ask your local LLM and they will happily take one of these, clone it, and modify it for you so that it does match one or match a rule of some sort. All the ADCS stuff comes from, the tool out there, ADCS, it's called, oh man, I know the guy's name who wrote it. It's not Certify, but it is related to Certify. It's not Toolsmith. What's it called? ADCS DSC checker. I'm trying to remember what it's called. It's a tool. It's not Certify. It's the other one. Spencer always talks about it. Oh man, I already forgot. Stand by. Let me hop on LinkedIn. You can stare at this cool screen while I figure my life out. So again, kind of the power, right, is that you have the ability to do and see just a little bit differently and more precisely. So it's not getting content mixed up in the place where all kinds of things, all your event data is kind of coming in, and correlation could take time. This is nearly instant. Once you load one up, it'll rock it pretty quick. All right, I can't find the ADCS tool. That was really bad. So sorry. It's not Toolsmith. I can't remember what it's called now. Jake wrote it. Someone will correct me. If not, I hope you correct me. Let's see. What else can I share? Let me just load up a new data source. So I have 2 logs in here. It does keep your logs in the database, so you can easily go and like hit view. So this is the one that we just dumped live, and you can come in here and again, just kind of view like what's going on, like off hours access. Obviously, you would need to define what off hours is for your data, things like that. But as you can see, there's nothing too exciting, just a bunch of like logging in. Log on types is in here. It's actually pretty powerful, a good way to write content related to that. And then obviously you can see the hourly patterns when they log in and whatnot. So kind of cool. I hope you give it a try. I really do. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, definitely drop it in Git as an issue or whatnot, or open a PR. If you want to add things to the public one, just do it. Open a PR and ship it. I hope you find this interesting. I will get this out there, and I hope you all have a great day and give it a shot. See you later. See you on the next tool.